Hello and welcome to this Mr. Podcast. My name is Trey Stewart, and I am joined by my very handsome co-host and now husband, Mr. Zachary Luker Stewart.
Hello.
Oh, I introduced myself wrong. I'm also Trey Luker Stewart.
Yeah, that was... We'll work on it.
We're going to work on that. Anyways, I've had lots of requests while we were in Cabo to get a play-by-play update from the messiest bitch on the trip, and that is Mr. Jordan Law. Hello, Jordan.
Hello. Thanks
Are you nervous?
A little for these questions. I'm ready.
So I tried to do this with Jordan. Well, first of all, let me back up. I brought our podcasting equipment to Mexico so that we could record stuff while we were there. And I tried to get Jordan when he was drunk. He wasn't quite tipsy enough to be as honest as I wanted. But now that we're home...
At the moment, he wasn't.
Right, when I was trying to record with him.
I was like, I don't want people to think that he wasn't tipsy enough during the trip.
Every day.
Every day.
But now that he's home and in a safe place and no one can smother him with a pillow, I feel like he can share his full, honest recap of the trip. And I figured there was no one better to dive into the messiness of this trip than Jordan himself. So, Jordan, let's go through just the whole thing. First of all, I had so many people come up to me and they were like, I knew Jordan was a mess, but I didn't know he was such a fun mess. You are the fun drunk of the trip. And before we left, we were talking about how at this wedding I went to last year, there was this guy that was a total mess, absolute train wreck, fell asleep in the driveway, almost got run over by a bus.
This almost did actually happen.
Yes, tried to punch the groom's dad in the face. It was like a whole thing. You know, we were kind of I remember the first few days there were people like that. He might be that one, but you were the fun drunk of the trip, and you really were the life of the party, which I appreciate.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of always how I've been. I think that's why we get along so well. We kind of just feed off of each other. But I did get anxiety when I got back home. Was I too much?
No, someone told me that you were like, I think I ruined the wedding. And I was like, no, you definitely didn't.
No.
I had a lot of people that they were like, I've seen Jordan on social media and he's always the party boy. They're like, he's actually really fun. And I was like,
I would hope so.
They were surprised.
I'm just glad I didn't embarrass anybody aside from myself.
Oh yeah. No, besides
yourself.
yourself. Well, so Jordan's also the one that Trey will be like, oh, it's Thursday. We're going to go out tonight. And I'm
Thursday.
like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stay home because I know you're going with Jordan. And at first I was like, man, Jordan must think I don't like him. And it has nothing to do with me not liking him. I love Jordan, but I'm like, I can't do it.
It's a lot. I go 0 to 100 real quick.
Real quick.
Yeah. But I do think that I get more intoxicated at Mr. faster than I did in Mexico. I feel like Mexico kind of was a marathon, which...
It makes sense that you don't remember.
It was more of a triathlon. There was a lot. There was a lot going on.
That was the longest bender I've had.
So the first day they arrived, which was Wednesday, Jordan was trashed by dinner. And he had been there, I don't know what time you got there, maybe noon. And so at 7 o'clock, Jordan was ready to rage. And he was on a mission. He was on a mission to find the cartel and not be taken by the cartel, but he wanted to take the cartel.
Yeah.
So at dinner, he ordered maybe, let's say 9 tequila shots. And that gave him the courage. Oh, yeah. That gave him the courage to leave the resort and go find the cartel. And it took... probably another 9 people to encourage him that he was not going to go do that. And then he had a nice slumber that evening, woke up the next morning, breakfast, 8:30 a.m. I'm sitting there with him. He orders a mimosa and a tequila shot. I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. This was bachelor party day.
Yes.
So we did our bachelor party on a yacht, which sounds super fancy, except it was actually... it was expensive, but it was less than what we would have spent on a bachelor trip, which I think truly was the most fun way to do a bachelor trip. It was
100%. 20
of us on this yacht for 4 hours. You can do 4-hour yacht charters in Miami. You can do it in Cabo. You can do it wherever. And it's fairly reasonable. They had food, they had alcohol, they had some water, toys and stuff. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
that was one of the highlights of my trip.
Definitely
for sure.
One of the highlights.
I was very impressed too because their music system was great. And I was I was worried about that, but it was wonderful.
Yeah. So as we're parked or
Sailing
anchored?
away or anchored?
No, we were parked.
Okay.
As we were parked, the what was it? What's the highway patrol version of the ocean?
The Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard. The Coast Guard comes strolling up. So what does little Jordan Law do? Jordan starts giving them a show by throwing his ass in a circle. I think that is what deterred them from boarding the yacht.
They heard that I was coming, and
yep,
they were like, we got to go monitor this one.
They just circled. They said, "Oh no, he's good," and or maybe they said we're good. We don't want to.
They're like, "That's a no from us."
Yeah,
we'll let him have him.
And kept strolling. But that yacht trip, that was the most fun.
It was
definitely one of the highlights of the trip.
It was perfect.
I agree. People kept asking me. They were like, "Do you feel like the alcohol is watered down?" And I was like, "Go find Jordan." And then I want you to ask me again if you feel like the alcohol is watered down.
No, I do. I do think the alcohol was watered down.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I was ordering doubles, which ended up catching up to me at the end of the night.
Oopsies.
I don't know. I think the tequila there is. I do not like tequila. Miss me with that. I hate it. But every now and then I would take half a shot because anybody who ordered me a shot, I threw most of it over my shoulder.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
That was the theme, was like, do not stand behind Zach the entire trip, because chances were he's going to throw a drink or a shot behind
I'm either going to
shoulder.
throw the shot over my shoulder or throw up on your shoulder.
I'm like behind them, like...
yeah. Oh yeah, Jordan was probably catching them all. But I don't know. I think it's just more pure, or I don't know, it's just better there. I never woke up with a hangover.
Well, I mean, it's made there.
The tequila does go down easier there.
I never woke up with a hangover. Did you? Well, maybe you're a bad study
Every
sample.
day.
We'll ask everybody else.
No, it was so bad on one of the days. I forget which day it was. I don't know.
It was definitely Friday that you had to have been done for.
I went and I asked the hotel lobby. I was like, "Is there a doctor on site?" And he was like, "Actually, yes." And I was like, "Okay, I need to see him stat. Like, I need an IV. I need something." And I waited in that lobby for like 30 minutes.
No, come to find out it was 10.
Oh, well, it felt like an eternity. And he never showed up. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll just keep drinking.
I'm better. Yeah.
At one point, it was Friday. Jordan passed out in the pool. And I was like, Jordan, pick your head up.
Face
like
down.
I am. Yeah, I'm like, just pick your head up.
He was napping.
Well, yes, I'm sorry, passed out by, napping. And so then he decided, finally, I guess, got annoyed with all of us saying, pick your head up. So he decided to go upstairs, and we didn't know this at first. He went upstairs into Trey and I's room, and that was the room that everybody's going to the bathroom in. And so at one point I go up there, and Jordan is passed out, sprawled out on our bed.
Face down.
And I was like, you know what? Legs hanging off the bed. But I was like, you know what? I appreciate Jordan because he put a towel down first.
Listen, Mama raised me
I'm like, at
right.
least he was respectful.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to ruin this bed. I mean, I could have easily, but I was like, Mama raised me right. I'm going to put a towel down. And I mean, I would have expected the same if somebody was in my room.
And then he napped.
And then I took a little nap, and it was honestly the best nap that I had on the trip.
So then we get to Saturday, and we have a rehearsal
And
at
the tune
3.
totally changes. Jordan goes from party Jordan to emotional Jordan.
Oh, God.
And he was a mixture of both at the welcome party. There was one point I walked away and I was like, where is Jordan? And he was not to be missed. He was wearing a bright yellow shirt and I could not find him. And I was told that he was sitting over on a pool chair with my sister Jordan having a moment. I walked over there and well, first of all, he thought that was the ceremony. And
I was like, that was great.
I was like, but you didn't wear your suit, Jordan.
You know, I was like, well, that's $200 wasted.
I forgot. But he was sad because you would have thought that I was dying, that I had minutes left to live.
Yeah.
And
Jordan
he was like,
cried so much during the rehearsal.
well, no, this is the welcome part.
Oh, okay.
And I walked over and I was like, what's wrong? He's like, well, I just don't know if you're like not going to go out with me anymore. And I was like, Jordan, I'm going to call you next week and ask you to go out and you're going to hang up on me. And it's like, it's not going to stop. I was like, now that I have a husband, Zach just has to drive us.
Yeah.
Like
legally, as opposed to before.
I am his responsibility.
That was not in my vows.
It was in mine.
It's the fine print.
Yep, it is. So he was emotional then. And then the rehearsal comes around.
Oh, God.
And we haven't even lined up yet.
No,
and
we're just standing there all talking.
Jordan just starts bawling.
Look, I love...
And I thought something else happened, like something that I was not privy to. There was an argument, there was a fight. Nope, it was that this was Jordan's first wedding that he was in.
I know.
So run me through those emotions.
Well, I mean, at the bridal suite or at the rehearsal, for me, it was the music. The music started.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I know.
And
Good.
That was our goal.
And it was like chills.
Thank
This is
you.
it. This is everything. And I mean, I wasn't worried about like messing up. I mean, I can walk a straight line.
So
Very.
I have to pause for a moment there. So we do the rehearsal, and so I took our song for the wedding party and I cut it and made it longer because it was not going to be long enough for the entire wedding party to walk down. When I tell you we didn't even get to the chorus the first time we rehearsed it, and the entire wedding party was standing up there, and I'm like, okay, Jordan, you're leading this pack. You have to walk slow.
That's a lot of
Jordan
pressure.
ran.
was a lot of
It was a
pressure.
marathon all of a sudden, and he ran and got first place for sure. But I was like, okay, we got to do all that over again because that was not how that was supposed to go at all.
All
So-
I saw whenever we started the wedding was like everybody on the opposite side was like,
I yelled at you at one point. I was like standing from behind the wall and I was like peeking over, and I remember yelling, Jordan, slow down.
I thought I heard something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So run me through the emotions. Why was that so emotional for you being your first wedding that you were a part of?
I mean, it was like not only my first wedding, but it's like my best friend's getting married. I know like the love that you guys have for each other, and I think that's just so sweet. And like I said, I have a hard exterior sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But like deep down, I'm like really soft, and I just want to be held too.
Yeah, I never saw that side.
I just want to be held too.
It definitely came out. It was funny. Jordan kind of split the trip in two. Like the first half was like, gotta rage, Jordan. The second half was like, oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a job to do, and I like to perform and perform well. But
You
did a great job.
You performed
Thank you,
well.
thank
you
you.
were
I-
definitely the life of the party.
You could have shown up two ways, emotional or shit-faced. And
I'm glad I showed up emotional.
I'm
And
glad
I was,
you showed
I
up
was
emotional,
definitely
too.
shit-faced after.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, like even in like the bridal suite, we were getting ready. I was like literally like hyperventilating. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And Courtney's like, you've got this.
She's like,
this
"Get it
is-
together."
Yeah, she's
you're
like,
walking.
slapping me.
I know you haven't walked that this entire time, but
No,
That's all you
and
had
then
to
I
do.
think Megan had to give me like a quarter of a Xanax to like calm me down. And then I was like, okay, now I think I'm too chill. Like, now I'm just gonna glide.
I
down
do
the
think you
aisle.
cried more during the rehearsal than you did the ceremony.
I did too,
which
but
is
I kept,
good. He got it out of the way.
Yeah.
No, I was trying not because Trey was like, "You should ugly cry," and I was like, "You say that now, but until I do it." But the photographer did see me as he was taking photos. He did see me crying, so I'm sure that there's going to be several photos of me, just like.
Well, and so
beside
to
myself.
add on top of that, all the emotions Jordan was feeling, I then day of sprung on them that I need them to do choreography during my vows. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And it was easy choreography, but I kind of like psyched Zach out by making him think that I was going to sing a song and that I didn't sing a song, but he didn't really buy it, but everyone
I
else did.
didn't.
But I had the wedding party do some choreography, and
I don't even know if I did it right, to be honest.
I knew better
I
than
think
that.
you did.
I think
you did.
like,
it right.
I was just like, you just move me, like however
Yeah,
you need me to.
just move me. So I said before we left that like Sheridan is the quintessential bridesmaid, but I think you have earned the term of quintessential groomsman. Like you kept everyone entertained. You were not sloppy. You
I literally
didn't
had to
cause any
text-
fights, which is a true
When?
surprise.
I didn't throw anybody off a boat.
You didn't throw anyone off a boat.
I didn't flip any tables.
Nope.
I didn't throw any glasses.
And you had every intention to. So the fact that you didn't,
did.
I'm really proud of you.
I know. See, I can do it.
Yep. So then later that night, obviously Jordan's having a great time dancing, but we had to wrap up our wedding by 10 p.m. because that was
It's
just
the
like the
earliest we've
resort's
ever
rules.
gone home.
Yeah. So we had garnered a little bit of a crowd from on the like upper levels. There were like some other groups there that were like doing dinners and just some other people that were there on vacation, and they were kind of watching our wedding. A few of them like came down and danced, and then a bunch of them were up at the bar. And so after our dancing was done, we all went up to the bar, and I looked around again and I could not find little Jordan Law. And so I was like, where is he? So my friend Megan came up and said, oh, he's downstairs on a pool chair. I was like, okay, great. Well, I'll go get him. So I go down there and I'm like, hey, Jordan. He goes, I'm already in bed. I am not getting up and going out. Like, sorry, not tonight. And I was like, well, you're actually not. You're on a pool chair.
You're still out.
And somehow you're wet. So
Megan poured water all over me.
someone poured water on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But got him up. And you know what? He went upstairs and he rallied. He woke up and went
But at
to the
least,
club.
at least I like always excuse myself. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
you know what? Jordy needs a moment,
Yep.
and let's.
But I
you know,
truly think had I not woken you up, you would have slept there all night long.
Yeah, I think we need to get you a little like
little bell.
But
Well,
no, we need to get you, well, that too, but like a little cot at Mister so you can excuse yourself there.
Just take
Because
a
you don't have anywhere to go there.
And I
a
don't
little
have, I-
cat nap, and
zero
he's back at it.
self-control.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't lost though.
Oh, I'm glad you weren't lost
I'm
too.
the only friend of Trey's that he doesn't have my location. I'm
Yep.
the only one, and he did actually, in fact, drop
That
an
would be a
air
great
tag.
wedding gift.
Drop an air tag in my glove box, and and I kept hearing this like beeping
Resourceful.
noise, and I was like, "What the hell was this beeping noise?" And then I looked, and I was like, "Trey."
Well, so then Sunday comes, and Sunday Jordan is supposed to be leaving, and Jordan goes, "I extended my flight," and I was like, "Oh, great!" Which was great because we were going that night was Connor's proposal, and we were going to the Office, which is a really fun restaurant right on the beach in Cabo.
Very wet restaurant.
And I was like, "Do you have a room?" And he was like, "Nope." So he was like, I was like, "You can stay on our couch, you can stay wherever." Well, that was fine. We went to Flora Farms that afternoon, and when we came back, Megan had already checked out, and the room was under Megan's name, and Jordan was like her guest in the room, like on paper. And
They're strict there.
they were asking for room numbers and names when we came back into the gate. They're very like tight on security. And he was able to get in then. And then I thought, how is he going to get in tonight? Well, so we go to the office, we come home, we have 2 big buses full of people. And our bus was ahead of Jordan's, thank goodness.
Oh,
Because
I would have panicked.
the guy that was talking to the security guard, he was like asking for room numbers and names. And our guy was like rattling off numbers that like were our room numbers, but he would like kind of forget sometimes and he'd say it again. And the security guard was just like done talking by that point where he just let both vans in, and Jordan was a little fugitive of the resort and he was able to stay there. So he was supposed to stay in our room that night, but by the end of the trip, everyone loved little Jordan Law. Courtney Jennings and Stephanie C adopted him, and he was like, "I'm going to their room, bye."
I was literally
and
just
they went and had a
traveling back and
sleepover
forth with my suitcase.
Yeah.
It's like I did it. I think like 3 times across the whole resort. I was like, "Where am I going to go today?"
People just, they loved him and they took him in.
And they didn't smother me.
And okay, so Courtney texted me when we got back. She has this new like
Love for Jordy.
love for Jordy, and I heard that she texted you.
Yeah.
What'd she text you?
She wants me to like help her. Wait, what? Wait, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. She wants me to help her with like some of her listings while she's
she
out of
wants
town.
Jordy to sell Dallas.
I think the other way around.
She wants you to help her.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She
And she
wants
wants
me
to
to
like help you like
Yes,
get some
that's what I
experience under your
meant.
belt.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like,
Yeah.
I think she's like helping.
She's like Jordy
You
needs to
as
sell
well,
more Dallas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mutual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which I think is great. I'm
And
so excited.
Yeah. No.
I think y'all will be a great
Well,
match.
'cause even-
Actually, and I asked Lori, I had a session with her the day we got back, and she loved it. She was like, I think that is the perfect pair, and I think they will sell a lot of real estate
No,
together.
even your mom at dinner at the office, she was like, "So, like, why don't you and Courtney work together?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't think that Courtney liked me for like the longest time."
And then they
And
cuddled.
then, yeah.
And now they're going to be business
No,
partners.
I wouldn't say we cuddled. She basically told me to just lay there and not like move or snore or make any noise. Like,
All right, so we only have a few minutes left. I want to spend these last 5 minutes getting your take on all the tea that you acquired on this trip. Was there anyone that you know that hooked up on our wedding trip?
so yes, there was some hookups that happened on the
Wait.
trip.
Were any of them yours?
No, actually, my mom told me not to hook up with anybody in Mexico.
And you made her
And
proud.
I made her so proud. And honestly, I'm really disappointed in myself, actually.
There was one that I know of though.
What?
Yeah.
So we were on our rooftop doing a little pregame before the Cinco de Mayo, before the Cinco de Mayo
Which,
party.
pause, that people tried to schedule pre-games. I was like, guys, we're at an all-inclusive resort.
The whole
What do
thing's
you
a
mean-
pregame.
What do we need a pre-game for? But carry on.
Well, yes, we were pre-gaming and we look up and we see 2 people just having some fun.
That were in the wedding party.
Yeah,
They were banging on the balcony, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, no. They weren't on the balcony.
But you could see from
But
the
they just had their little sheer curtains closed, and I saw one person jump on the other person, and then we all must have gasped or made some loud noise, and all of
Well-
a sudden you see the lights turn off, and
It had to have been more than a gasp.
But then I also
my
never
little
saw said
friend
person
walked up to the
after.
door and was like, it just waved at us and then closed the curtains.
I never saw said person.
They're madly in love. I
for the
love
rest
them.
of the week.
You
I
weren't
missed
at
that
that
one.
pregame.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Okay, Jordan, were there any fights that you were aware of? Aside from the ones that you wanted to have?
Yeah, I was really ready to throw hands. Was there? No, I don't think so. I mean,
don't think
just
so
some, like,
either.
yeah, I think everybody really got along. Like,
I know
really
they really
well.
did, which is nice. It's a little, I mean, I don't know. There could have been.
I mean, at the end of like I would say at the end of The Office, I think everybody was like, well, yeah, everybody was really.
That was
annoyed.
just a situation,
Yeah.
and we were
But I
all
was like,
tired.
yeah,
Well,
like,
listen, okay,
tensions were a
let me give you a little pro
high.
tip. Let me give you a pro tip about The Office. So, I've been there many times. Your table, you get one check. So when we made our reservation, Curtis, I made a reservation for him for 13 people, which was like Zach and I and my mom and Jordan and Connor's boss was there and Connor's family. So that was 13 people. I knew that wouldn't be an issue. So you also can't make a reservation for more than 10 without paying $35 a head, like as a deposit to make sure you're going to come. So we got that 13 top. I was like, that's not going to be an issue. Not worried about that whatsoever. Everyone else that was at the resort, we had another probably 25 people there. So we made separate reservations. Like one was like a table of 8, another table of 8, table of 6, like a table of 4. And set those reservations under separate names. I made like a notes file and like said who needs to sit where based on like who I know they'd group well with, knowing they're getting one check. So we arrive. And someone before we got there said that table should all be one table.
Mistake.
Big mistake. Thankfully, it wasn't our mistake. We set them up for success. They set themselves up for failure.
This is why I always listen to you.
The one person that was going to pick up the check only wanted to pay with their American Express. They don't take American Express. They only take Visa or MasterCard. They want your cash. So they had this long... I mean, it was so many people at the table, and I hate, especially like when I'm planning like a birthday party or anything, is going to a dinner knowing that there won't be separate checks, or someone ordered, 19 shots and someone ordered a steak and a water. Like, that is not fun. That's just such a headache. So if one person's not picking up the bill, like, let's do separate bills kind of thing. And that was their case, but that wasn't our problem.
No.
So if you go to the office and you have a big group, do separate tables. Trust me, it's worth it.
This is why I always listen to you. When you're just
Thank
hey,
you.
just show up. I'm like, all right, Trey's already got it planned. Like,
Yeah. Well, and so then Jordan didn't quite know that our tab was taken care of yet. And we thought he went to the restroom and he heard that like there was drama at the other table. And he goes, I'm going to go. See y'all back at the resort. And he was outside waiting for a taxi with Courtney and Stephanie who were at another restaurant.
No, I saw,
Jordan
Courtney
excused himself.
Well, listen, I had gotten wet enough at that dinner. I was not expecting the tides to be so high on the beach. I mean, like, if you saw the video, I mean, it was like
Oh, yeah.
Titanic, the water scene where it's all rushing through the hallways.
Too soon.
That's what it was. And so Courtney and Stephanie were going to come to dinner with us at first. And then she was like, no, we're going to go to this other dinner. And so I saw them come up, after their dinner. And I was like, all right, well, let me go. And,
I'm going to go now. Jordan was wet enough and he was done. He was leaving.
that last tequila shot at
But
dinner.
our table worked out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there really wasn't any drama. Everyone got along really well. I feel like the wedding was like, the whole week
It
was great.
I'm still on a high from it.
Honestly, we did it really well. Like,
I feel
it just
like
it all worked out really well. We
you
should do like
should
a
plan-
yearly trip.
Well, you should plan weddings.
We're gonna do a yearly vow renewal.
I would love that.
I know.
Just all inclusive, maybe like Bahamas.
Ooh, but there's nothing all inclusive about the Bahamas.
Oh, well.
But see, the fact that it was all inclusive though, wasn't that so much nicer that you were there and like you knew everything was paid for? One night, Jordan did go out the night before the wedding. A bunch of Zach's groomsmen and Jordan went out, and he got to this bar and he orders like 14 shots, and then they had the nerve to bring him a bill,
God.
and it was like $200.
I was like, this is not Mr. Prices.
Well, listen, Jordan, it's not as free outside those gates as it is inside.
Listen,
but
I should have
lesson
never left.
learned.
I should have never left.
Lesson learned. So overall, it was an amazing wedding. Jordan, thank you so much for being our guest today. Thank you for being the highlight of everyone's trip and being the quintessential groomsman. If you're getting married soon and you need a groomsman, Jordan is available for hire.
Or like a date. I mean, I'm a good wedding date.
Okay.
Oh,
There's that.
Jordan is interested in boys. Sorry, ladies.
Or yeah. I mean, I don't know.
If you have enough money, Jordan will date a girl. Jordan, where can people follow you on Instagram?
At Jordan Law, JordanLall.
Did you almost forget how to spell your name?
No, but I thought you were going to say something. So I
Oh,
didn't.
also, Jordan is an apartment locator.
Yes, and realtors. So if you guys are in the DFW area and you guys need any assistance finding a place, let me know.
Yeah,
Hit me up.
Jordan can
Or
get
hit
some
Trey up.
amazing deals on apartments, like ones that are not like listed somewhere else. They get
Yeah.
like exclusive ones. So
Exactly.
hit Jordan up if you're looking to move. Also, it's free.
Yeah,
To like
that's
use an apartment locator, which a lot of people don't understand. Every time I lived in an apartment, I used an apartment locator because it was just so much easier.
Yeah,
because
I wish
like
I would have known that when I moved here.
Oh, just because you know all the good buildings, you know which ones are bad. Like you get all the reviews, so you're like not living there, but I would put you there. Like that one's worth the money, that one's not. So I've always appreciated that. So if you're looking for an apartment, hit Jordy up. Zachary, where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Zach_Luker.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart because I can't change my name yet because I'm verified and I have to get a new ID, and that takes a process. So that'll be done in the next 6 months. Bye.
Bye.